Welcome again to another episode of Basic Business Concepts for the Average Person. My name is Dr. Wilbert Corner. Today we're going to be looking at efficiency and strategy in business. The basics. Efficiency and strategy in business. The basics. For-profit and non-profit businesses. Their aim, of course, is to provide exceptional goods and services to their clients. At least this should be in fact. Getting to this goal, however, requires effort and dedication. As a professional, I always emphasize consistency. A stable foundation is essential within any organization. Why? A stable foundation serves as a precursor for what comes next. Fundamentally, business strategy provides businesses with the calculated ability to make decisions. There is a seen as well as an unseen dynamic relationship among three components which we're going to be looking at. One, efficiency of the employees, efficiency of the company when dealing with customers, and three, efficiency of the company as an institution which seeks to distinguish itself from its competitors. These are all essential components that we're going to briefly look at in our quest to go through efficiency and strategy in business. We're looking at the basics. Again, we're looking at the basic business concepts for the average person. We're going to try to keep it as simple as possible. You may have heard the saying, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. This is true across all facets of our lives, and of course, in business as well. Business leaders must strategize in order to stand out, in order to be conspicuous in the marketplace, to attract new clientele at all times, and also to keep this clientele that they already have. One way to do this is by enhancing the efficiency of employees. Business leaders should never take their employees for granted. Without the employees, there'll be no business. You can argue that technology, as it increases, as it expands, may replace some employees, but technology will never be able to replace all employees. So employees should never be taken for granted. There must be that human element in business. Employers must train their employees in functional areas that matter. Functional areas that matter. Whether the company provides services or a service, the process from point A to point B is essential. Point C, D, E, F, and go down the line, these are all essential. Whether it's a production process, there are certain points that are, all points are important, but there are critical points that leadership, management must be cognizant of, and all employees should know about and be able to control in the most efficient manner as possible. So employees must be trained in functional areas that matter. Management or the employer must be able to identify best talent for excellence. You don't employ a friend because he or she is your friend. You employ talents that can be productive and efficient. Employers must encourage best talent, must hire best talent, must promote best talent, and reward best talent. These are critical for any business, for the survival of any business. Then, and only then, will you be able to retain that talent. Talent that is reliable, efficient, productive, knowledgeable, and accountable. Let me remind you, mediocrity breeds mediocrity. Excellence knows excellence. Just think about it. An adequate amount of staff is critical for efficiency in maintaining employee morale. Another way business leaders can distinguish the business from their competitors is by enhancing strategic efficiency. Levels of the company. Companies need, whether it's a service company or company that manufactures or manufacturer, need adequate financial resources, and this cannot be overstated. Sufficient financial resources are critical. They are critical for the day-to-day functioning of the business, to meet overhead costs, all recurring costs, taxes, etc. Adequate or up-to-date or modern equipment is required. By this I mean obsolete equipment raises cost of production. It dwarfs efficiency and can sometimes frustrate employees and may result in staff turnover. Just imagine you have a new employee who comes to work in your business place, and what is he or she exposed to? Equipment that breaks down often. Equipment of yesteryear. So businesses must take advantage of modern equipment and modern technology in order to survive and excel in the marketplace. And as we proceed, plant layout is critical, especially for small business owners with limited human resources, skills, and technology and equipment. Small business owners have to be very cautious or conscious of how the plant is. So we're talking about ergonomic setup for businesses, because these are all critical. These are all critical for productivity, efficiency, and of course, output that would attract customers. The operational structure must be sound and easy to follow. Operational structure must be sound and easy to follow. For example, supply chain. Supply chain may appear to be very easy, but then if a company is not taking advantage of relevant skills that are available and relevant skills that are required for basic function in the supply chain, then you're going to have excess paperwork, you're going to have bottlenecks, you're going to have a reduction in productivity, because you're going to have time wasted when raw material, for example, is brought into the plant, or office equipment is brought into the office, and manufactured goods take a lot of time to get out to the customers. These are critical for efficiency in business. The human resource department must be comparable and productive. Wrong direction, wrong leadership, inadequate leadership or poor leadership will not result in competitive advantage. Will not at all. The right staffing choices are a vital start in any progressive work culture. You need to hire the right persons, as I alluded to earlier on, in order to have a productive culture that thrives, a productive culture that wins, a productive culture that attracts like. So positive and productive employees will bring in positive and productive friends and co-workers. Obviously, challenges exist in every business. There's no perfect business. But the customer must be offered the uncompromising best on a consistent basis. No excuses tolerated. Increasing physical output should not just be a matter of lowering cost and growing your markup, but it should complement service levels for your customers and also an increase in product quality. There is always room for improvement. The point, my point, strategizing to maintain competitive advantage. Nobody's waiting for you. Nobody's waiting for you, especially in this competitive world today. And so, I can add, business leaders should encourage basic things such as brainstorming. You can brainstorm at the management level, but in my opinion, management should also encourage subordinates to brainstorm. Have a suggestion box, and not just have a suggestion box in a particular corner in the office or in the building. Read these suggestions, acknowledge these suggestions. Let your staff know that you are looking at the suggestions that they make, and they may or may not be implemented. If they're going to be implemented, why? You give the advantages or the pros. If they're not going to be implemented, say why. You have to show your employees and the company as a whole appreciation. Customers should possibly be invited to your place of work so that they see how things are done. Not on a regular basis, probably once a year, so that you gain their trust and appreciation. All employees must be trained to understand the customer, not just the business. Your employee may know how to assemble a television, for example. But what if that same employee who is in the parking lot meets up with a customer, or customer meets up with him or her and asks a simple question? They should be able to, in a courteous manner, suggest, you go to this person, you go to this door, you go to that door, etc., etc. So even the floor worker should be trained to be courteous. In other words, to have the company at heart. And lastly, we're going to look at a way to enhance efficiency is from the customer's perspective as an institution. Here I'm referring to corporate social responsibility. This may sound big and long, but let me try to simplify. Corporate social responsibility, in other words, it simply means that the company as it exists should have the community at heart, not simply to make money. In other words, we should be our brother's keeper, so to speak. So that is spelled out by looking at environmental support. The company wants to make sure that the processes that they use, the waste that they use, are used in a proper way. the waste are disposed properly, and whatever that is emitted into the environment is controlled, is minimized. Walmart does a good example for this. They buy goods from sellers or suppliers who are mindful of taking care of the environment. We call this sustainability. There is also support for social change. We talk about the Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ, etc. So businesses are becoming aware of their role in that respect. Ethical behavior and risks. This is a very, very, very big topic in corporate social responsibility. And we can just mention this by going to look at some examples, such as, you remember the Bernie Madoff fraud guy? So Bernie Madoff, who made off with lots of money, but now he's in prison. No ethics. We refer to the subprime lending. I mean, 2008, 2009, many people lost their houses, lost their savings, because the loans could not stand. Another example is Nike, many years ago, who used sweatshops to produce their shoes. So children were used to produce shoes, to manufacture shoes, getting little or no money, or little to no money. And when the shoes came to the United States and other countries around the world, they were sold for a lot of money. But Nike held the bull by the horn and corrected its errors. Employment practices. Employers have to ensure that they use proper practices and reward employees properly. And that goes across the globe. You may have heard of fair trade. Fair trade is a standard that's used by suppliers to signal that they pay their employees fairly and they use proper practices so that the sweatshops, etc., are no longer. So we can think of countries like Ghana in Africa, where this was used, and Vietnam, and so on and so forth. So we also look at support for genuine contribution, that is strategic philanthropy in corporate social responsibility. So companies give to the communities which they operate in, and they give genuinely, not support for hidden agendas, but to enhance people's lives. And also we can look at offshore banking, which I alluded to in my previous video. But again, this is a large topic by itself. And so right now, we're all mindful of this COVID thing, that business survival is a trending topic today, especially for medium-sized and small-sized businesses. Even the box stores like GNC, Pier 1 Import, Men's Warehouse, GameStop, Steinmart, Bed Bath and Beyond, they are all closing shop or downsizing. What does this say for the small businesses? Businesses have to strategize in ways that are unconventional. They have to look for different ways of doing things. E-commerce has revolutionized how business is conducted today. The Amazons and the Walmarts, they're taking advantage of this e-commerce thing. They're making lots of money. The smaller businesses are kind of suffering. So as I said, they have to re-strategize how they do things in order to survive. And just to recap, we looked at the efficiency of the customers, the efficiency of the company as it relates to its customers, and the efficiency of the company as an institution distinguishing itself from its competitors. Again, business is critical for the world as it is, but efficiency and strategy in business is even more crucial for the survival of the business. So we looked at this, just the basics, again in another episode of Basic Business Concepts for the Average Person. I thank you for viewing. Again, if you have any comments, please let me know. And again, I ask you to subscribe, to like, and to share. Thank you again, and have a great day.